Hello, these are my reflections on the journey of Lent and the second Sunday of the season of Lent. And it's about pilgrimage and being at risk. Before I came to St Andrews in July of 2019, Lucy and I had walked a pilgrimage from Lindisfarne, a holy island on the east coast of the north of England. Crossing both the country and the border with Scotland, we arrived in Iona, the holy island of the northwest. 576 kilometres walked in the month of May, in varying weathers and with varying levels of pain. I've talked about this before and I bring it up again because the connections between walking on foot pilgrimages of heart and soul, and pilgrimages of social and political truth-seeking, and the Lenten inner pilgrimage are all strong. Generally speaking, people embark on pilgrimage for lots of positive reasons, with a sense of doing the right thing, the belief that it will make a difference or bring about change. My experience of the pilgrimage we made was mostly memories of hurt knees, hurt feet, steady rain and steep hills. Then, just below that, are the memories of the people we met along the way. Farmers, walkers, people in hostels, members of the Iona Abbey community and other folks. Memories of Joanna and Phil who looked after us so gracefully. Then there are memories of astonishing beauty, contradictions in the history of great cruelty by the English towards the Scots, theft of language, theft of land, theft of culture, racial colonialism. I wanted to blow up the grand homes and rebuild the humble shepherd's ruins. Of all these stories that can be told, there's lots in them. But that's like complaining about the lack of coffee in Lent. The struggles aren't what it's about. The point of the pilgrimage is to step out on a journey that you may not be able to complete. It is to set off unsure of your strength and your ability. It is to be beyond your comfort zone and your preparations. It is to make an offering of perseverance, trust in God's Spirit walking unseen beside you, and trust in the person you are walking with. Often my trust comes through gritted teeth. To trust is not to be comfortable, it is to be at risk. Lent is at its best a time of risk, and therefore the need to trust. When you give up something for Lent, it is a fast. It may be from meat or motorised transport or from complaining or pointless TV watching. Fasting is doing without something that you know you use as a crutch or a pillow. It is offering that period of need and discomfort to God. It is about making space and looking for Christ's presence in the gap that you have left vacant. Doing this for a day is easy. For a week is tough. For 40 days is, demanding or rewarding. I've got several fasts running, some concurrently and some sequentially. You know about the coffee. We have been encouraged to think about Black History Month. As a white, privileged male of a certain age, I don't really want to do this. It's hard. This will not be the first time I've tried to do this. It probably won't change anyone's life. It will make me feel guilty and helpless. I might feel anger and shame. I am likely to make mistakes, misunderstandings. I may give up halfway through. That's not a bad way to enter a pilgrimage with that honesty. In a pilgrimage, you give up normal life and location to do something that opens space for God to speak to you. In Lent, you open space by putting one thing down in order to be able to hold something else. And whether it's TV or food or sleeping in, it is the space that it makes that matters. At the end of our training, Lent, the 40 days, we come to the telling of the Lenten journey of Jesus. It's called Holy Week. The signs of the journey are all the way through the Gospels like arrows showing the way. The journey gets underway when there is a clash between Jesus' understanding of faithful living in God's way and that of the religious teachers. Paul, in his letter to Rome, to the Christians there, is teaching that when you have a nice set of rules that you allow to run your life, the religious rules of Judaism, it's like sleepwalking through life. It's only when you seriously break them that you get punished, and also when you stir from sleep. It wakes you up to break the rules. But until you pay off your sin with another sacrifice, and that's as long as it takes. Paul says rules that come from laws lead to enforcement and punishment. Then he says the promises between you and God come from a living relationship. And when it gets damaged, that leads to grace. Paul shows you that faith always allows you to hope, and hope allows you to gain courage, and courage helps you to step out and do something that aligns with your faith. What is the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is death on a cross. But at the heart of our faith is the symbol of the cross. The resurrection of Jesus shows that death is not the end, the finality. It is the doorway to a full life with God through a new life beyond death. Jesus said, "If anyone wants to become a follower of mine, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it. And those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. For what will it profit them to gain the whole world and forfeit their life? Indeed, what can they give in return for their life?" I'm encouraging you to make some kind of journey in Lent, even if you start now. And it's a journey to make you uncomfortable, a journey that asks you to stop doing something and make a vacant space, maybe in time or in your activities or in your commitment not to grumble and groan and criticize anymore. That's quite a good one. But to make some space where instead of just motoring on through your life, you motor on and then there's this point where you stop and nothing happens in this space that you've set aside, and then you carry on again. Making that space, you can then look at things. You can look at things that are uncomfortable. Uncomfortable because you really want to do them, you really feel you should do them, but you've never quite had the nerve or the energy. Or they're things that you love but you know you shouldn't, or ways of being that you shouldn't. A tendency to forget the things you don't want to remember, or just a tendency to lose yourself in too many cups of coffee or too many cups of alcohol. Pilgrimages are about opening up space by closing down other things. You don't walk a pilgrimage to get fit or to see nice countryside. Actually, you probably end up with damaged feet and memories of falling rain. You walk to be broken down, wall by wall, stone by stone, until God can get past your defenses and touch your heart. You don't give things up in Lent to lose weight or to learn a new skill. You make yourself poorer, less free to choose, more likely to curse your decisions for Lent. But if you can keep going, even in a small thing like 30 minutes of silence a day in God's presence, no agendas. If I can read just one article on Black history and understand it, if we can do these things, we have made a small doorway for God's love to lead us, not by our wisdom, but by our trust in God's love. And God leads us into a simplicity of living, into the risk of stability in love and into the trust in Christ's whispers. May you have a good Lenten journey, a challenging and rich pilgrimage, and may you find yourself closer both to your own heart and the heart of God. Bye.